Welcome back to Center Stage. Michigan CEOs stepping up to the plate. CEOs in the driving seat. Recently, the Detroit Renaissance, the flagship for the community in Southeast Michigan, changed its name to Business Leaders for Michigan. And they're saying they're reaching to the western part of the state. We have Doug Rothwell, who is the president of Michigan, formerly Detroit Renaissance, now Business Leaders for Michigan. And of course, one of the members, Cindy Paskey, from Strategic Staffing Solutions. Let's cut right to the chase. You guys are stepping up to the plate. What has happened is there, and did you encounter some kind of Damascus in the, is this a Damascus experience in the economy?
That's a good question.
You want to do that first, Cindy, or
you can go.
I think what's happened is that we realized that in order to get Detroit where we want it to be, we need some help from outside the state. And so we started to meet with some of the CEOs from around the state and frankly asked them, said, are you willing to help us not only help Michigan, but also help Detroit? And they said, absolutely, because what goes on in Detroit affects all of Michigan. And so what we decided is that it makes more sense for us to go to Lansing and advocate on behalf of not only economic growth for Michigan, but also for Detroit as one business community rather than a split business community around Michigan.
And we also felt that if we, and we believe we will be, we're successful in this approach, then the agenda that is created to support Detroit could be applied to a Battle Creek, a Benton Harbor, even to a small city in the UP. I mean, the definition of urban isn't just Detroit. So we will start with Detroit, but we believe when we're successful, we'll be able to carry that to the other urban cities and then smaller cities that have been challenged in our state.
Did the name Detroit Renaissance affect how you operated in the past?
It was a problem, I think, in terms of when, especially if you were trying to advocate for state policy changes, they felt like, well, you only represent one area of the state. How does everybody else feel? And so now it's going to be a lot easier when we go up there where you've got people from CEOs from Benton Harbor and Grand Rapids and Muskegon and speaking
Midland.
as one voice. That's going to really help a great deal.
Now, you guys are in this business, the economy. Given where we are today, where do you see Michigan heading to?
Short term?
Yes.
If we don't have some structural and fundamental changes in Lansing, the economy in Michigan is going to continue to decline. And unfortunately, I feel even if we had immediate changes tomorrow, we still have a period of time where the economy will continue to decline before it can stabilize and start to turn around.
We did actually a survey of our CEOs, and what they told us was even 18 months from now, things are probably going to be about what they are, or maybe even a little worse in Michigan. So we've got a long haul here to get over this economy, and all the more reason why the things that we're advocating for in terms of change up in Lansing are so important.
Now, you guys are looking to engage Lansing more, right? To be more engaging with the state capital, but that's traditionally not the role of industry captains, though.
Well, I think that the role of CEOs, I like the industry captain, I'm put that on my desk. I think the role of CEOs is to create an environment where they can have a successful business. And a successful business clearly involves creating the right kind of jobs, having the right kind of price points. And when you're in an environment where you don't have support from the elected officials in order to do that, then you adjust what your job responsibilities are. For our companies, and we represent a significant range of industries and employees and sales revenue and profits, to be successful, we need changes in Lansing. So we decided that that now needs to be part of what we should be engaged in.
What kind of changes, to be specific, are you talking about?
Well, we've outlined a 5-step plan to turn around the economy. And the first place is you got to manage your finances better. I mean, we've been for years now underestimating what revenues we're going to have or not have, and so we got to do a better job at that. Second step is we're going to have to right-size our budget. It's a phrase that gets used often, but the fact is we're a smaller state than we used to be, and yet we have a government that still was built for a much larger population. We got to get that in line. Third is we got to get ourselves competitive from a tax standpoint. Michigan, and today, to be here, if you're a business, you pay about 3 or 4 more points of profit, percentage points of profit, that you wouldn't have to pay in another state. And so that's a reason why people aren't coming here. Fourth is we got to prioritize where we do spend our money. So let's focus on higher education in our cities rather than spreading it all around kind of evenly. And then the fifth is, what do you really want to do to drive economic growth? It's about entrepreneurship. And so we've got to do more to help people start businesses and grow their businesses rather than kind of picking one or two companies and giving them all the incentives at the expense of everybody else.
So what I read from the crystal ball here is that Lansing is holding us hostage.
Well, they're certainly holding us back. Absolutely. And when they hold the corporations back, then they hold the cities back. And when you hold Detroit back, you also hold the state back.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this discussion with the CEOs in Michigan. We'll talk about Time Magazine coming into Detroit and their front page cover about the decline of an American city. We'll get your views on that and also other issues going on, including, in fact, the gubernatorial elections coming up. Who will be fit to take over from Governor Jennifer Granholm to take this state perhaps from the Titanic situation it's in? We'll be right back. Stay tuned.